She looked so proud standing there in her dress, smiling like she hadn't just burned my whole life to the ground. I said, I do, but I didn't know yet that she already didn't. It was the third day after our wedding when I found out. 3 days. 72 hours of blissful ignorance. We were supposed to be in Maui, walking barefoot along the black sand beaches, starting our honeymoon. Instead, I was sitting across from her best friend, Melissa, in the dim back booth of a cafe near my office. She looked like she hadn't slept all night. I shouldn't be telling you this, she whispered, looking over her shoulder. But you need to know who you married. I remember the way my stomach dropped, how the coffee suddenly tasted bitter. I hadn't even touched my croissant yet. Lauren cheated on you, she said. The night before the wedding. I blinked at her, like the words were in a different language. With who? She hesitated. His name's Derek, one of her old college friends. They've had a history. That was the moment everything stopped feeling real. The room spun, and all I could see was Lauren, my wife, walking down the aisle 3 days ago with tears in her eyes. I thought they were tears of joy. Melissa slid her phone across the table. I took screenshots. She was bragging to me. She thought it was exciting, said it was her last taste of freedom. I stared down at the screen, and there they were, messages from Lauren to Melissa, timestamped 1:47 a.m. the night before our wedding. Derek just left. I feel so guilty but so alive. Maybe I needed this. I feel like a real woman again. I didn't say anything, just sat there while the floor cracked open under me. If you ever look back and realize the red flags looked pink at the time, congrats, you were in love, and you were blind. I wasn't stupid. I just loved her too much. We'd been together for a little over 4 years when I proposed. It was in Charlottesville, on the rooftop of this old hotel we stayed in for a weekend getaway. She cried when I got down on one knee, pulled me close and whispered, I don't even remember who I was before you. We had plans. A shared apartment, 2 kids, a trip to Japan, growing old under the Florida sun. We used to joke we'd become those boring old retirees arguing over who left the porch light on. But now, thinking back on the month before the wedding, there were signs. Things I brushed off, little moments I filed away as wedding stress. And now? Now I know exactly what they were. Like how she suddenly got weird about her phone. She used to leave it on the kitchen counter when we were cooking dinner. Then one day, she started taking it everywhere, even into the bathroom. She said she was just keeping up with vendors and appointments. Then there was Derek. She mentioned him once. Just once. Remember Derek? From college? He texted me the other day. Random, right? I didn't think anything of it. She even showed me the message. Just a simple, hey stranger, how's life? That's what she wanted me to see. I laughed it off. He had a crush on you back then, I joked. She just smiled and said, didn't everyone? I remember that now, and it makes my skin crawl. Another thing, she kept pushing for a separate bachelor and bachelorette party weekend. We were going to do something low-key together, like a joint cabin trip. But she said she needed space to just be with the girls. That it was tradition. I didn't argue. I wonder now if that was the night. But it wasn't. Melissa said it happened the night after that, after all the parties, just hours before our rehearsal dinner. Lauren had told me she was going to bed early to feel fresh for the next day. Meanwhile, she was texting Melissa and slipping out of our apartment around midnight. And I was home, writing my vows. I stayed up till 3 a.m., pouring my heart into a piece of paper I would read to her in front of everyone we loved. I didn't even notice she was gone. That still haunts me. The worst part? After Melissa told me, I remembered something else. That morning, the morning of our rehearsal, Lauren came home just as I was making breakfast. Her hair was damp, and she said she'd gone for a morning walk to clear her head. She kissed me like nothing had happened. I made her scrambled eggs. You ever watch someone lie to your face and realize they've done it before, maybe 100 times, and you just never saw it? I didn't tell her what Melissa said. Not right away. I needed to see if she'd lie to me first. I needed proof, not just in messages or hearsay, but from her. From the woman I had just promised to spend my life with. So that evening, after work, I came home like nothing was wrong. I kissed her on the cheek. She was in yoga pants, hair up, chopping vegetables in the kitchen like it was any other Thursday. Hey, I said, random question. She glanced up. Did you end up seeing Derek at all before the wedding? I was just thinking about that old college crew you used to talk about. There was the smallest pause. Barely a second. But in that pause, I felt something shift. No, she said casually. Why would I? She didn't look up. I smiled. Just wondering. Thought I saw something on Instagram. Maybe someone tagged you guys at the same bar or something. Oh no. I don't even have Derek on Instagram anymore. That guy fell off the face of the earth. She was too smooth, too quick with the denial. And I knew she was lying. I went upstairs not long after, phone in hand, Melissa's screenshots burning a hole in my pocket. My hands were shaking. My heart wouldn't stop pounding. There were more texts Melissa had shown me. Lauren had sent them the morning after she slept with him. Messages like, "Can't believe I did that. My dress fitting is in 3 hours, and I feel like I'm still buzzing from last night. LOL. I'm such an idiot. I told him I was getting married tomorrow. He didn't even flinch. Just said, then we better make it count. I don't regret it. Should I?" That last one hit me like a punch in the throat. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay next to her, staring at the ceiling while she breathed slow and steady beside me. Her hand was on my chest like nothing was wrong. I felt sick. I felt rage and grief crawling inside my skin. But more than anything, I felt stuck. I had just married her. Everyone we knew had watched us say our vows. And now? Now I knew they were lies. You want the truth? Don't ask for it. Dig for it. People who lie don't confess. They slip. I didn't want to be the guy who checks his wife's phone. I really didn't. But I couldn't sleep next to someone who smiled at me while hiding this behind her back. I needed to know if it was true. If it was just once. If that even mattered anymore. Or if I had married a woman who had been cheating all along. So, the next morning, while she was showering, I did it. I unlocked her phone. She'd never changed the passcode since we started dating. I went straight to her messages. Nothing suspicious. Then WhatsApp. Empty. Instagram DMs. Nothing recent. Like she had scrubbed it. But then I opened her email. And there it was. In the archived folder, not even deleted, just tucked away like it wouldn't matter. A thread titled Thursday night, from someone named Derek Carter. The date was 2 days before our wedding. Derek, are you sure? I don't want to mess things up for you. Lauren, one night. That's it. I need to. No strings. Just one last time before I become someone's wife forever. My chest tightened so hard I could barely breathe. Derek, hotel still in my name. Same room as last time. You know where to find me. And then her reply. Sent at 12:12 a.m. The same time she'd told me she was sleeping early. Lauren, on my way. I sat there, staring at the screen, my own reflection warped in the glass. I didn't know how to describe what I was feeling. It wasn't just that she cheated. It was that she chose to. Planned it. Wrote her vows with one hand while texting her ex with the other. And then, like salt in the wound, she had the nerve to smile at me through the entire ceremony. Kiss me like nothing happened. Dance with me at our reception and cry during our first dance to that stupid Ed Sheeran song. I couldn't take it anymore. When she came out of the shower, towel wrapped around her, humming something under her breath, I asked, "Who's Derek Carter?" She froze. Didn't even try to lie this time. Her face went pale, like she'd seen a ghost. "Why are you asking me that?" she whispered. "You tell me. The first time someone lies to you, it hurts. The second time, it changes you. By the third, you start wondering if you ever knew them at all." "Who told you?" she asked. Not, "It's not what you think." Not, "Please let me explain." Not even, "I'm sorry." Just straight to damage control. She was sitting on the edge of the bed now, towel still wrapped around her, her face pale, but eyes calculating. That was the moment I realized. I wasn't looking at a heartbroken woman. I was looking at someone who was just trying not to lose control of a situation she thought she'd buried. "I found the emails," I said. "That's all I'll say." Her lip trembled for a second, like she wanted to cry. But nothing came. "I didn't think you'd see them," she finally whispered. "So it's true." She nodded slowly, then looked at me, finally, really looked at me. And for a second, I thought maybe she felt something. Shame. Regret. Anything. But what she said next shattered that hope. It was just one night. I needed to get it out of my system. My heart cracked open. "Get it out of your system?" I repeated, barely able to form words. The night before our wedding, she stood up then, crossed her arms. The emotion on her face faded like someone had flipped a switch. I panicked, she said coldly. You're not perfect either. That stunned me. What does that mean? I don't know, she said with a shrug. Sometimes I feel like you're boring, safe, and I needed to feel something different, just once. I was shaking. So you chose to blow up our marriage before it even started because I made you feel too safe? No, she snapped. I chose not to blow it up. I married you. I showed up. You don't get to judge me for one mistake. One mistake, I said. You planned it. You booked a hotel, you snuck out, and then you walked down that aisle like nothing happened. You act like I murdered someone. She really said that. I realized something right then, something ugly. Lauren didn't feel guilty. She felt inconvenienced. That's when I decided to talk to a lawyer. Not because I was thinking about money, but because I needed out. And I needed to do it right. Then Melissa messaged me again. She said she had something else to tell me. Something that would explain everything. It's never just one lie. One affair. One secret. People like her don't fall. They drift, quietly, until the person you thought you knew is a stranger with your last name. Melissa didn't want to text it. She said it needed to be in person. So we met up again. Same cafe, back booth, same haunted look in her eyes. She stirred her coffee 3 times before speaking. I didn't tell you everything last time, she said. I wanted to. But I needed time to be sure you were ready for it. I leaned in, trying to steady my breathing. She cheated on her ex, too, she continued. You remember Zach? Vaguely. He was before me. Someone she dated for a couple years after college. She did the same thing to him, Melissa said. Only worse. She was with someone else for 6 months behind his back. A married guy. I only found out because I caught her one night, outside a bar, in the back of his car. I just stared at her. She begged me not to tell anyone. She went on. Said it was a phase. That she was going through something emotionally. That Zach didn't give her enough attention. I couldn't breathe. Why are you telling me this now? Because I'm done covering for her, she said. You're a good guy. And I watched her walk all over you. And I hated myself for not saying anything sooner. I sat there in silence for a long time. Every memory I had with Lauren, vacations, birthdays, quiet Sundays in bed, started to look different, twisted, contaminated. It was like my whole past with her had been rewritten with a darker pen. Melissa pulled something from her bag. A flash drive. What's this? I started saving screenshots a while back, she said. Just in case. Messages between her and a couple guys. Not just Derek. I think there was one named Brian. She was bragging about how easy it was to lie. I took the drive. It felt radioactive in my hand. I know it's not my place, Melissa said, standing up, but if you go to court, for annulment, or anything, you'll want that. That's when it hit me. I could get the marriage annulled. No divorce. No drawn-out process. Just erased. But more than that, I wanted her exposed. I wanted the truth to come out. Because Lauren wasn't just careless. She was calculating. And if she could lie under oath during our vows, then she could do it in court too. So I lawyered up. And I filed. You really see someone's true face when they realize they're not the one holding the knife anymore. I served her on a Tuesday. Her reaction? Nuclear. She stormed into my office at work. Didn't even call first. Just marched past reception like she owned the place, slammed the door behind her, and threw the envelope of annulment papers across my desk. What the hell is this? She spat. I didn't flinch. I just said, it's exactly what it looks like. Her voice dropped. You're seriously trying to annul our marriage? Fraud voids a contract, I said. And you committed it. I have proof. She blinked. That got her. What proof? I leaned back in my chair. Enough. She crossed her arms. You're not going to win. You're going to embarrass yourself. And me. And everyone. Then you should have thought of that before you went to Derek's hotel room the night before the wedding. That was the first time she looked scared. Not guilty, just scared. People make mistakes, she said. Softer now, trying a different angle. We were stressed. I was overwhelmed. I didn't think you'd find out. She sat down slowly. I still love you. I looked her in the eye. You don't know what love is. That broke something in her. She stood up again, grabbed the envelope, and hissed, Fine. You want a war? You'll get one. 2 days later, her lawyer emailed mine. They were contesting the annulment. said I had no grounds, that I was inventing a betrayal out of jealousy, that I was trying to control and manipulate her. I wanted to scream when I read it. But my lawyer? He smiled. Let them fight, he said. You've got a case. And we did. I had the emails, the screenshots, the message timestamps, the testimony from Melissa, even a few text threads from Lauren to a friend, joking that she'd already tasted freedom before the ring was on. We started compiling it all. And Lauren? She doubled down. She started posting photos of us on social media again, tried to frame it like I was abandoning her, like I had changed after the wedding. Friends started texting me, confused, asking what happened. I stayed silent. The only thing louder than her lies would be the truth. Court isn't about emotion. It's about evidence. But watching her squirm under oath, that was something else. The courtroom was colder than I expected. I sat at the table with my attorney, papers neatly stacked in front of us, watching Lauren across the room. She was dressed like she was going to a charity brunch, modest blouse, soft makeup, hair down in waves. Like she was trying to play the role of the wronged wife. But her eyes kept darting around, nervous. Her attorney did most of the talking early on, pushing the narrative that I was emotionally unstable, that I had lashed out after the wedding, that this was a bitter husband with buyer's remorse. Then came the real show. They called her to the stand. I didn't know how I'd feel watching her raise her right hand and swear to tell the truth. My stomach turned. My heart was pounding, not from fear, but from the sick realization that she was about to lie in front of a judge. She looked calm at first. Yes, Your Honor, I was under stress during the wedding week. Planning was overwhelming, but I never cheated. Her lawyer nodded, guiding her gently. So you categorically deny any affair with this man, Derek Carter, before or after the wedding? She nodded. Absolutely. Then it was our turn. My attorney stood, cool, measured. Ms. Whitman, could you read this aloud, please? He asked, placing a printed email on the stand. She looked down. On my way. The courtroom was silent. That email was sent to Mr. Carter at 12:12 a.m., the morning of your wedding rehearsal. Would you like to explain that? Lauren looked cornered. That's not what it looks like. Then what is it, Ms. Whitman? She stammered. Her attorney objected. The judge overruled. Then came the photos. Screenshots. Timestamps. A damning trail of her digital footprints. And then Melissa. She was calm, clear, confident. I was Lauren's best friend for nearly 10 years, she began. And I'm here today because I watched her manipulate and lie to people who loved her, over and over again, including the man she married. She detailed everything. The confession Lauren gave her the morning after, the messages, the history with other men, the pattern. Lauren wouldn't even look at her. By the end of Melissa's testimony, even the judge looked uncomfortable. When someone builds their life on lies, all it takes is one truth to bring the whole house down. After Melissa's testimony, everything changed. Lauren wasn't smiling anymore. Her confidence was gone. She sat hunched at her table, arms crossed, jaw clenched like she was holding herself together with nothing but pride. Her lawyer tried to do damage control. He questioned Melissa's motives, hinted that she was bitter, maybe even jealous, suggested she had a personal issue with Lauren. Melissa didn't even flinch. I just have a problem with people hurting good men and thinking they'll never get caught. Then came the final arguments. My attorney stood with quiet confidence. This isn't just a case about infidelity, he said. It's about deception, intentional, sustained deception that led my client to enter into a legal contract under false pretenses. He made vows in good faith. She did not. He laid out the timeline, the emails, the messages, the testimony, the motive. She wasn't overwhelmed. She wasn't confused. She was calculating. She planned to cheat, and she followed through. She had every opportunity to tell the truth. Instead, she put on a dress and walked down the aisle as if nothing had happened. Then Lauren's lawyer stood. He tried to pivot, made it about love and forgiveness, said annulment was too extreme, that marriages go through hard things, that I needed time to heal, not destroy something that had barely begun. But the judge didn't look convinced. Lauren made one last move. She asked to make a statement. She stood up and looked directly at me, not at the judge, not at the room. Just me. I know I made mistakes, she said, her voice cracking just enough. But I still believe in us. I know what I did was wrong. But if you loved me once, you can forgive me. We can fix this. People survive worse. She even cried. A tear rolled down her cheek. She wiped it away slowly, like it was being filmed. But I didn't feel sympathy. I felt clarity. This wasn't remorse. This was performance. Some victories don't feel like triumphs. They feel like survival, like standing up after the storm and realizing you're still here, and you're free. The judge took a long pause before delivering the decision. He looked from Lauren to me, then back at the papers in front of him. His voice was calm, steady, almost bored, but the weight of every word hit like thunder. After reviewing the submitted evidence, the timeline of events, and the testimony of the witness, this court finds that the respondent, he glanced at Lauren, committed fraud prior to entering into the marital contract. I felt the tension in my chest loosen like a knot unraveling. The court grants the annulment, effective immediately. This marriage is hereby declared legally void. Lauren didn't react at first. She blinked, then turned slowly toward her lawyer, whispering something I couldn't hear. But I didn't care. It was done. No long, drawn-out divorce. No fights over property or money. No drawn line across our lives. Just gone. Like it never legally existed. Like I'd walked into a nightmare and somehow stepped out the other side, scratched but not broken. Melissa was waiting outside the courthouse. When I stepped through those doors, I didn't feel victorious. I felt exhausted. Like I'd been holding my breath since the day Melissa first slid her phone across the table. She gave me a small smile. "You okay?" I nodded. "I think so." We didn't say much after that. Didn't need to. Lauren left town a few weeks later. Moved back in with her parents, from what I heard. I don't keep tabs. Don't care who she's with now. I blocked her on everything. She never apologized again. Not that it would have meant anything. I'm not angry anymore. Just wiser. I trust differently now. Love more carefully. But I'm still me, still standing. That's the end of the story. The guy who said, "I do," never really married the woman he thought he did. But the man who walked out of that courtroom, he wasn't broken. He was free.